Well, hello there, and welcome to our Cultivating Healthy and Vibrant Workplaces, the interview series. By way of introduction, I am Lisa Kelly, President and founder of the Workplace Wellness Center of Excellence and Director of our Workplace Wellness Leadership Certification Series and Executive Wellness Leadership Programs. So joining me today, we're so excited. We have Tammy Copenhaver, one of our talented graduates of our Master Level Workplace Wellness Certification Program, and her CEO, Sara Medley of Mountain Pacific Quality Health, who graciously accepted our offer to participate in this interview today. So welcome, Tammy and Sara.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Tammy Copenhaver. We are in Montana, and I am the technical specialist and I would say wellness ambassador for Mountain Pacific Quality Health. We have regions. Our region is Montana, Wyoming, Alaska, and Hawaii. And so we have quite an expansive time zone difference when we're gathering wellness initiatives.
Right. Great. Well, thank you. Yeah. And Sara.
So good day. I'm glad to be here and very glad to be alongside Tammy Copenhaver, the brainchild and the engine behind all of our wellness challenges.
Right.
So the only thing I would add is to compound Tammy's complexity in dealing with all of our staff, we also cover Guam, American Samoa, and Saipan.
Wow.
And those folks are a day, and in some situations a day and a half ahead of us. So you actually cross the date line. And Tammy had to coordinate a few of our participants from Guam. So it was a great challenge, and we love doing it.
Oh, congratulations for you, Tammy. That's great because, I mean, it's challenging enough to run a wellness campaign within an office location, within one site, but you coordinated that. So if you get a chance to speak to that in your presentation, that would be incredible. I would really appreciate that.
Perfect.
So let's just deep dive. Today we're going to actually be discussing your recent Spring in Action Wellness Challenge or campaign, whatever you refer to it as, and the success strategies that really helped you create a dynamic campaign for your employees, as well as then we'll talk about the outcomes from such. So Tammy, to get us started, I'm going to have you speak to the slides, and I'm going to just share my screen now with everyone. Alrighty. So this is your Spring into Action challenge, and I'm going to let you just take it from here.
Okay. So Spring into Action kind of derived from a survey that we did of our entire staff, asking what their priorities were. What did they want in the challenge? We knew we wanted to do a challenge for our staff, but we didn't know what their what their priorities were. So Spring into Action was born of that survey and the priority of fitness and movement for our staff. And as you can see on the next slide, we had 24% of our staff registered for Spring into Action. And of those 24, 66 completed all 8 weeks of that challenge. And as we noted before, each regional office was represented. So Guam, we had representatives from Guam participating in this challenge. So we had Hawaii, Alaska, Wyoming, and Guam. Go ahead. Next slide. We used a new platform, one that offered the ability for participants to participate either with entering their data by hand or using trackers. Trackers are so popular these days, and most people have a smartphone, and most all smartphones have an iPhone or a health app on them. But if you're carrying your iPhone or your smartphone, it's tracking your steps. So this platform was very inexpensive for our organization. It was a yearly subscription, and it allowed tracking, gave a leaderboard. You could upload your pictures, so it offered a little bit of competitiveness for our staff, which we heard a lot of positive comments about the leaderboard. It really kind of, I'm losing the word that I want to use, but our staff enjoyed it immensely. Next. As with any challenge, you have to try to motivate the participants each week. And with that, we sent out a weekly communication. I used MailChimp to do this. And I would include the week's leaderboard, how people, the top 10. And with this challenge, we also did a most improved category. So with that, I always did the top 5 of the most improved for steps and activity. Because with this challenge, I was trying to break it down into small bites. You know, take your normal and add 1,000 steps, or take your normal and add 2,000 steps, or if you are only active 10 minutes a day, be active 15 minutes a day, that type of thing. So we'll go to the next. This was our baseline for our weekly consistency, along with the overall most minutes, all that kind of category winner. I wanted to keep the weekly consistency important and try to entice our registrants to make sure that they were logging data and doing something each week. So we had a minimum of 60,000 steps and 175 minutes of activity. To meet this benchmark, to be placed in a drawing for an hour off, they had to do both. And of those qualifying each week, 40% of our registrants were in the drawing each week. So with that, the activity and movement, you know, that's all physical, but we wanted to include some healthy behavior within the challenge. And with Challenge Runner, it was very easy to do this. So for a couple weeks, we added, you know, drink an extra glass of water every day. So whatever your normal is, add a glass. And then with that, when that was done, then we did add a new activity one day each week. Something that you've never done or something that you haven't done in years, and add it into your normal routine. Whatever it is, you know, it could be anything. And then we ended with 3 minutes of meditation each day. And participants received points for doing these interim contests. And on the next slide, you'll kind of see why.
And I'm just going to ask a quick question
here,
Tammy. So of course, this would all be self-reported data, right?
Yes, it's self. And the small contest was not pulled in. It was not synced by the trackers. They had to physically go in and check yes or no they did the activity.
Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go to the next slide now.
Mm-hmm. So as you can see, we had most steps and most activity. And I guess I should back up a little bit. On this, I capped our daily steps at 12,500 per day. And I capped our daily activity at 120 minutes a day. And the reason I did that is because we have some high achievers in our building, in our company. And we have the staff that are kind of beginners. They're the ones that are doing 5,000 and 6,000 steps a day and might add 1,000 steps. So I was trying to close that gap between those really high achievers and those that I really wanted to entice to start their movement and physical activity. So that's why I did that. And so with that cap, I had several people, you know, they were within points of each other. And when it came down to it, you can see it was a day of meditation and a couple glasses of water. That was the difference between our 1 and 2 spots. So the next slide shows our most improved. And with this, our most improved, we had staff from all over, and our most improved had an average participation, or average of 59% improvement over the course of the 8 weeks.
So can you just share a little bit more with our viewers how you measured that most improved?
So the most improved, that's the beauty of having an analytic team. So we pulled the data off every week from Challenge Runner. It came in an Excel form, and we had an analyst, and he took the data and analyzed it every single week and then averaged it out. And that's how we got our overall winners. So he took the data that was reported.
Right. So most improved from when they started to when they ended?
From week 1 to week 8. And they had to report data every single week.
Wow. Excellent.
Yeah. Some had good weeks, some had bad weeks, but overall the average was this.
And I'm sure that platform, can you say the name of it again?
It's Challenge Runner LLC.
Right. I'm sure that really supported you in the tracking process and probably also the engagement. Can you just speak to that? I mean, what was the feedback from your employees? Because if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time you've used a platform to do your campaigns. Is that correct?
It is. And I would say the engagement was great. It was easy to use. You could use it either on your computer or you could use it on your mobile device, your smartphone. Sarah used it as well. She was in our challenge and in our top 10.
Well, maybe this is a good point. Sarah, would you mind just coming on for a second? Now, I have some more questions for you, as you know, but maybe you can just speak to this now in terms of your experience in using the platform.
You bet I will. When Tammy approached me with this idea, my first reaction was, well, I certainly want to participate. I believe in leading from the front. So in terms of leading from the front, my only challenge was how am I going to track my steps? I didn't want a Fitbit or a similar device, but decided it was time to purchase one. So in the spring, I had a birthday and I bought myself a small Fitbit that I thought I could manage and only
Good for you. Yeah.
Sleep. And I thought I can handle this. So being competitive as well, I thought I'll try and keep up with the team members. And I had so much fun with it. Once I started tracking my steps, I was hooked. In fact, so hooked that I missed the challenge and I asked Tammy if she wouldn't consider maybe doing another one.
Okay.
So I got as excited about it as the staff. And the only other thing I would add is for a number of years, I do walking meetings. So whether it's rain or shine, when I'm meeting with my leadership team, we generally, unless it's snowing and bitterly cold, we generally try to walk at least 15 minutes and catch up on things that we don't need pen and paper or computer for.
I want to commend you on your involvement in your organization's challenge and, and certainly for joining me here today. I mean, it really speaks volumes to your commitment to cultivating a healthy work culture for your organization. And, at this point, I'm going to let you carry on in just a second, but I really want to send this challenge out to all other senior leaders and CEOs watching this interview. I mean, take Sarah's lead, right? And follow her example and become a senior level wellness champion for your organization and for your employees. And so, kudos again to you, Sarah. We don't often see this CEOs get this actively involved. And so I'm thrilled. I really am. And so, so carry on.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, let's carry on now and with your slide presentation here.
Sure. So, with any campaign or any initiative that you do, well, lunch and learn, anything that you do, you have to measure it. So on the next slide is just some high-level evaluation results. I'm sorry, I missed this one. As part of completing the challenge, we did Certificate of Achievement and Certificate of Completion. And I handed those out at the same meeting that we announced our winners. And those that weren't in the office then, we mailed their certificate to them. And Sarah signed every one of them. So it was kind of a fun thing to do to give to our staff. So then on the next slide, I talk about our evaluation. And this is just high level, quick, but was it of value? Did it meet your expectations? Would you recommend it? I mean, that's always a good question. Would you recommend this? And over 80% said to continue with the Challenge Runner platform as well. And I think the more that we use the platform and the more that I use the platform, the more that I get used to it, the more things it does for wellness campaigns.
Yeah, if I may ask then, for yourself or Sarah, and you can maybe speak to this then, Tammy, did you have, what expectations, or did you have any goals or expectations going into it in terms of the level of sign up or full engagement and participation that you were hoping for?
You know, I always hope for 20%. I always hope for satisfaction of above 80.
Good for you. Okay, and I think you exceeded that, you know.
Yeah, yeah. We have a really great staff that does get involved when we do have these types of challenges or functions.
Right, and if I may ask too, because sometimes we find in these campaigns, we sometimes, not all, but sometimes see just those who are already actively engaged in, you know, in fitness. And did you have some who joined to, by their own admission, you know, said, you know, I don't normally do this, but I am this time, and what was your experience? Did you have any of those comments or feedback come back to you?
We did have some people that haven't done challenges before participate, which is always, to me, that's the best
Absolutely
measure, is having somebody that hasn't participated before. And when I'm building these challenges, I'm always thinking of that person.
Yes,
I'm always thinking of the one that doesn't do the challenge. I do keep our top movers and shakers in my mind,
right.
but when I'm building it, I'm thinking of the others, the beginner to the intermediates.
Yeah, and that's so important, right? Because you want to make sure that you have a program that meets all fitness levels. So that's important as well, right? In the design, and make sure you you're mindful of that, right?
Right. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
One.
yeah.
Yep. So then this is just the, you know, the satisfaction of overall, you know, of the challenge, of the weekly emails, of the prizes, of the challenge runner. So, you know, some of them we have some additions, more room for improvement, and others, I think they scored very high. So I was quite pleased.
Yeah, excellent.
And yeah, and our next slide is probably one of our most important slides.
Absolutely.
And this is Sarah's testimonial, and I cannot say enough about how supportive Sarah is.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Incredible. And and I've cleared this with Tammy before we started, for the benefit of those, this is a incredible report in and of itself. And I often talk about in our programs the value for, you know, as a program committee or program leader to prepare reports like this, but also for, you know, to measure and for future reference, but also to funnel back up to senior leadership, right? And I love your quote, Sarah, what gets measured gets managed. And is there anything that you might want to just chime in here again related to your feedback here, your testimonial? Anything else you want to add or to layer on with what Tammy's already said?
Well, you know, I don't think so, with just one maybe small addition, and that is to say that the group of individuals that I am fortunate enough to be leading, I think we've got now about 130 staff across our region, are primarily healthcare related individuals or individuals who have dealt with healthcare at some point in their career. And generally speaking, in my experience, healthcare folks are incredibly competitive.
Okay,
so
yes.
My easy job was just making sure that I modeled that good behavior, try to model it every day, try to be a spokesperson for healthy living by just living healthily myself. So it's kind of a natural if you're involved in an organization of highly challenging and competitive individuals who want to do the right thing for themselves and for those that we serve.
Absolutely. And, you know, on that note then, I mean, I just want to ask a couple more questions related to your experience as a senior leader. I mean, what value do you feel that this campaign helped, you know, your organization overall in terms of growth and development and cultivating a culture? Was there any other ahas or observations or any comments you want to make to that point?
Well, one, that we might be a little bit unique in that you called out the fact that we operate across a region of several states plus time zones. with that comes the challenge of silo thinking. But this was a way to bring everybody together around a celebration of a number of folks that actually achieved a significant thing by walking more, or highest activity, or being more well in terms of what they were eating and drinking more water, simple things. But the celebration that Tammy coordinated was really a great celebration of our entire organization, not just an individual state or department. So it was really brought us together.
Excellent. And, I often say that corporate wellness initiatives, when done well, such as, Tammy and yourself have organized here and facilitated, they can do so much to cultivating cohesiveness in an organization, right? What leadership advice or tips might you offer executive or senior leaders with respect to supporting or getting actively involved, say, in campaigns or challenges such as this, or any kind of wellness event, maybe a luncheon or whatever the case may be? And what tips or advice can you offer there?
So the main one would be, don't expect your staff or your team members to do a wellness activity if you aren't doing it. You have to say yes, and you have to participate. Otherwise, it's not going to work. It's not going to demonstrate to your team that you really believe in this activity enough to participate.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. And Tammy, I believe you have, so thank you so much, Sarah, for that. And I believe, Tammy, you have some other testimonials here that we'll just bring up for our viewers. Someone said they always try to exercise on a regular basis, and staying motivated is sometimes challenging, and that the incentives and the little competition kept her motivated as well, which is, what are your plans going forward now? Like, how do you plan on following up with those who were involved in the campaign or this challenge? And will you be having another challenge coming up in the near future?
Funny you say that. Yes, I just actually went live with the challenge today, about a half hour ago.
Okay.
It was one of the things that people wanted to see different from the last campaign to a new campaign was the cap on steps, or the cap on activity.
Mm-hmm.
So to entice those that are the beginner to intermediate, and then to keep those that are highly competitive engaged, and the high steps and such, I did another campaign, but I split them into two categories. I split advancing movement performance, is what I called it, into the two categories, beginner to intermediate, and then the audacious amp.
I love it. I love it. Good.
The audacious amp, they have to do a minimum of 60,000 steps a week and 150 minutes of activity a week to fall in that category, which many of our staff can. But they will have two separate leaderboards. So those that are only competing in the beginner to intermediate will only be competing against those individuals. The individuals in the audacious group will be competing against themselves in that group.
That's
and
great.
There's no limits, there's no minimums, there's no maximums, other than in the audacious, they have to reach that, they have to achieve that 60,000 a week.
And, and this is the value, right, of gathering feedback from a competition such as this, because that's going to just continue to enhance, right, and elevate your campaigns going forward, and using that knowledge to act on, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And with Sarah's support and our leadership team support, we're very fortunate.
Yeah. And, and I should also say here, and I really wanted to bring it to the forefront that your organization has received awards in the past. I believe you got an award around the time you started our program, and an industry recognition award. So again, senior leaderships take heart here. These are things that, aside from all the other benefits of corporate, that corporate wellness can bring your organization, right, through campaigns and challenges such as this, but also that industry recognition. You can't buy advertising or promotion. When you're talking about being in that race for talent, or standing out to your client base and your customers, right? And any other comments or thoughts there that you want to add to that?
No, those are great closing remarks about the importance of a wellness program, and it is immensely satisfying when I look back and I think about Tammy and I brainstorming how to begin one a number of years ago and where we are today. And it's just kind of one step at a time, plugging away and really demonstrating to one another that this is worthwhile in engaging teamwork and staff in a worthwhile effort for their health.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you have to run now to another meeting, Sarah, so I want to thank you so much, for everything, for your commitment to your employees, for your dedication to cultivating a culture of wellness in your organization. And I can certainly see why you have won an industry or industry awards. And, all the best to you. And I hope that you will continue your enthusiasm and your involvement with your employees. And I know that they truly appreciate that. So thank you once again, and thank you for participating. And that is incredible. And I can't overstate it. I mean, how fortunate you are to work with an organization and have a leader like a CEO. We're not talking a senior leader, we're talking the CEO of your organization, and a big organization at that. And so I really hope, I know you appreciate it, but I really hope that your employees truly understand and appreciate sometimes how rare that is, but how valuable and how precious that is, right?
Yeah. I've always been very fortunate, in the first rule of get senior level support, she's always been on board.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope this serves as a really good shining example and motivation and inspiration for other leaders watching who may be watching. So Tammy, just to wrap up then, you are a graduate, or certified master workplace wellness ambassador of our level 2 certification program. And so for the benefit of those who may be considering coming into our programs, what can you share with our viewers about some of the skills and experiences that you acquired from our program? And also, you were a project leader in our group project in our master level, our second level program. So, share with our viewers, our audience, what you experienced in our program.
Okay. Well, it was, how can I say, in-depth and detailed, a lot of fun. We built that campaign with our team. We built a campaign for Healthy Meals on the Go, the name of it.
A phenomenal campaign.
And so, we built a lunch and learn and all the supporting collateral that went with it. And then we had to present it to these industry leaders. It was incredible and such a great learning experience. I would never call myself a project manager, but that's exactly what we did. We used a platform that we could collaborate together. They were such uber smart individuals, and really good project. We really utilized all of their strengths. They all had different amazing strengths, and it just came together. It was
so if I may ask then, and I'm assuming so, but I can see already, actually, I'm probably answering my own question, but I can see a lot of what we teach in our program come through in how you set up the challenge. And I certainly don't want to take all the credit or our programs, because you had some base of knowledge coming into our programs as well. But would you agree perhaps that the training and the project group and the group project certainly helped you in, thinking strategically about how you design your campaigns and facilitate and execute?
I would definitely say that, yes. How you design it, how you launch it, how you, use it. In fact, I have it in my system here at the office. And when I'm doing newsletters and things and I need to nutrition information, I often go to Healthy Meals.
Right.
To use that collateral. But I would, yes.
Yeah, because we do, I was just going to say, as you know, we give a lot of resources, implementable resources through the campaign projects that you get, and they keep growing with every program. You get access to that as a graduate. And I'm really encouraged as well, because we often are encouraging existing corporate wellness practitioners to come into our programs, because I really believe there is so much that can be learned and gained, even if you have 3 certifications already in corporate wellness, because our programs are very unique and very experiential. And I always say you can't get too much education in this field, right? So,
right, and every program is a little bit, every program is a little bit different. And education, you're always gleaning in education and knowledge from any program. And not only with the program and the resources that you offer, like with the additional, I can't think of the name of them, where we get on Zoom and we use them, we meet every so often.
Right.
In the Facebook group, you know, we're building that network of like-minded individuals, and I often post, you know, questions and concerns and celebrate wins, and you're celebrating with that whole group of like-minded individuals.
Yeah, I know, and I'm sure when I post this to our groups, you'll probably have some people direct messaging you, and that's fine if you're open to that, because I'm sure a big part, a big thrust, a big mandate of our program is that continued learning. So as I say, the learning sometimes only, you know, really gets expanded on and pronounced that much more even after the programs, because then everyone has even more questions, right? And we're there to support you every step of the way. And I'm a teacher, and that's our program mandate. And you learn as much as well from each other, right? Not just from myself.
Right. You learn just as much from yes, those around you in that network. Yeah, and Worksite Wellness is evolving. It's evolving every day, you know, and this is where you learn the industry standards and the best practices.
Yeah.
You know, what's happening, what's going. So.
Absolutely. And I just want to say again how proud I am. I mean, I'm proud of all our graduates, but I really want to commend you, and again, commend Sara. Well, first off, for agreeing to do this interview and taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you, like everyone today, you're so busy, and I really do immensely appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and but also your dedication, because this is not just your sole focus in your role, your sole role. You have other responsibilities, right? So
yeah, this is just a tiny piece. It's one that I'm very passionate about, and that's why Sara has me. You know, we work well together because we're both passionate about it.
Right. So this is one of those, you know, assigned roles in your overall portfolio, right?
Right.
And so that's incredible as well, because there are, you know, it's a lot of work to put these together. And do you have a wellness committee that supports you at all?
Well, you know, I did have a formal committee when we were first doing this, but now it's basically myself, Sara, and our HR manager.
Okay.
Everything I do with regard to wellness initiatives, lunch and learns, anything, I run it by our HR, because HR has to review it for a number of reasons.
But I also,
and our leadership team, our C-suite team is I would say is our.
But from what I know of you, and we've talked about, you are very inclusive in that you reach out and you work with your employees a lot to get their feedback and their interest and find out, because I know when I've seen your annual, you know, you shared sometimes some high-level results of your annual surveys, employees, that you very much respond to what the employee needs and interests are as far as what wellness initiatives you roll out. Is that true assessment?
I would say that's very accurate. I always ask the staff at least once a year, and sometimes if I'm thinking of a challenge that I'm thinking, well, they would be interested in this, we'll send out would you be interested in doing something like this?
Right.
We're always asking the staff, and we're a little different here because we are inclusive of every staff member, regardless of who they're insured with. You know, some plans only do, if you're insured with this insurance company, we can do this challenge or whatever. Anything, whether it's biometric screenings, anything, it is for every staff member. Every staff member benefits.
Good.
So
yeah,
that's one thing that we
that's when we say inclusive, that really does represent an inclusive approach for sure. Yeah. Well, is there anything else now before we wrap up? I mean, again, I cannot thank you enough. It's really been a delight and so informative.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate all of the learning opportunities from you.
Oh, you know, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's such a great sounding board. Yeah, it is, absolutely. So on that note then, as we wrap up this episode of our Cultivating Healthy and Vibrant Workplaces, I want to thank you again, Tammy, and once again, thanks, Sara, for joining us today. And as I said, I'm sure our viewers will find immense value in learning about your campaign, your experiences, and your takeaways from it. And so to connect with either Tammy or Sara, to learn more about their organization or their wellness challenge, be sure to visit their website at, and I hope I get this correct, npqhf.org.
Mm-hmm. Mountain Pacific Quality Health Foundation.
There you go. Or certainly reach out to Tammy, and they've given me permission to share their emails. So Copenhaver at mpqhf.org, or Sarah at Sarah Medley at mpqhf.org. So, and to you, our viewers, thank you so much for watching and supporting, our interview series. And if you're a wellness enthusiast or a wellness professional, and you're interested in becoming certified for dynamic career opportunities in corporate wellness and doing what, say, Tammy is doing, or perhaps you're a corporate wellness specialist already, like we talked about, looking to advance your skills and career options in corporate wellness, then I invite you to check out our website at workplacewellnesscoe.com to learn more about our Workplace Wellness Certification Series and our new Executive Wellness Coaching Program and Internship that we're launching this September. And if you're interested in connecting with me to learn more about our programs and services, certainly reach out at info@workplacewellnesscoe.com. And also, if you found this episode, informative and illuminating, I invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Workplace Wellness Center of Excellence. So again, that's our YouTube channel, Workplace Wellness Center of Excellence, to receive notifications of our future episodes. So thanks again, Tammy, and to all of my friends and our viewers, until we meet again, I wish you the very best health and happiness. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.